Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Five Hole Fantasy Hockey Podcast. We're your hosts today, TJ, Zach, and Raj. What's up, boys?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
So I'm coming to you live from Miami.
Miami.
Yeah. And I was really hoping to have like a pretty sick. I was telling Raj, I was like, yo, like if they put me up near the neon and like I can put it up against the big window that's over there. No, dude, it's parking lots and it's boring. So we're going with grandma's room over here. But thank you everybody for joining us. We are kicking off our divisional previews. This is part one of the Metro. Today we're going to look at Washington, Carolina, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. We're going to deep dive how they're
land.
What?
The greatest team in all the land, Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh God.
Gonna be
We're going to have to defend that one. We're going to deep dive how their fantasy outlook has changed since last year. We're going to be doing team breakdowns, the question marks and storylines of each team. We're going to talk top targets for each team, what the power plays might look like, breakout, sleeper, bust candidates if applicable, goaltending. We're going to be talking each team pretty much in detail as good as we can. Check us out here on YouTube. We got some folks filtering in the chat. We got the Discord, Fantasy Hockey Discord. You guys are welcome to check that out. We're running mock drafts every single day, slow mock drafts. As soon as one fills up, we make another one. And we got like 4 or 5 cycling at all the time. So like I said, first installment, we're going to be kicking it off first with the Washington Capitals. Zach, I did enough talking. You want to take us through just the specs of the Washington Capitals last year and how they went through and finished?
Why do I have to do stuff? I like just
I gotta
back.
wet my whistle. I got Woodford and Coke here.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll do your job for you. Okay. So the Caps last year. Honestly, the Caps, in my opinion, I think the Caps like surprised the hell out of me. I didn't see that coming last year. 51-22-9, which is pretty damn good. Like, did you guys think that was going to happen? Like, be honest.
No, this was the season after they limped into the playoffs thanks to Charlie Lindgren, right? And they bring in Logan Thompson, and all of a sudden, the top of the fucking Metro. It did not.
Well, it seemed like it was going to be just like It seemed like it was going to be let's get OV goals season, and that was absolutely it. And somehow they were just
it worked out for them, and everybody came out to play. But yeah, they ended up first in the Metro and the Eastern Conference. They had 3.63 goals per game, which led the NHL. Once again, they were really trying to, they're really trying to do it for Ovi, it seemed like. Goals against per game was 2.58 goals against. They had the 13th best power play unit at 23.5%. Fifth ranked off nights at 33 off nights, and only 14 back-to-back, so tied for third most.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, last year, how they deployed their goalies, having that many back-to-backs, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It felt like all season, it was literally Lindgren, Thompson, and it just went back and forth, 1-1, and it really, really worked for them. I think we're going to see that going in again into this year. I mean, if it's a perfect example. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do with their goaltending situation. I do think we're going to get into this a little bit as the team kind of unfolds. But I think the Capitals as a whole, I don't want to hijack the conversation with like analytics or anything, but I feel like a lot of it, they were redlining. I do.
Yes, you do.
They were, the Caps were redlining. And I think that next year, I mean, the good money bet is to say that they're going to regress negatively, and that
I feel you.
They might still be top of the Metro, 1-2 of the Metro, because I don't know if anybody else is really. Metro is not what it used to be, right? Like it used to be 5 teams out of the Metro, 3 out of the Atlantic, and that's how the playoffs went. And it's kind of flipped. And really all they have to compete with is, I guess, New Jersey to an extent and Carolina.
So let's talk about Ovi specifically for a second.
Right.
What do you guys think is going to happen with Ovi now? Do you think, so you're saying they were redlining last year.
Yeah.
Do you think the same thing with Ovi? Do you think he's going to regress? Because I don't, in all honesty, I don't think that Ovi personally is going to regress. I think that some other players around him very well might, hate to say it, but your Tom Wilsons of the world, where he had a career year last year. But as far as Ovi goes, I don't know that I see him personally regressing.
Well, so he broke the record on April 6th. Going up into April 6th, he was 0.69 goals per game. There were only 5 games after he broke the record for the NHL season, but he was still scoring at 0.6 goals per game. So he didn't even really slow down all that much even after he got the record. I don't think the boys on the team are really going to stop feeding Ovi the puck. Maybe it won't be such a focus on the forefront of everybody, like get Ovi the puck. But look at it, like Chychrun had 20 goals. Tom Wilson had a career year. Protas put up 30 goals. Dylan Strome almost had 30. A lot of guys were doing really well.
Dylan Strome had a ton of assists.
Shooting.
So that's what Dylan Strome does.
Right?
He's a passer. And he was just trying to get the puck to Ovi, which is smart. I would still do that. I think Dylan Strome is still gonna, have a good year getting assists.
I'm with you.
Well, yeah, I mean the thing is you gotta after a season like that, you don't come in and just like stop doing what you just did. Like it's like let's just continue what we just did.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
And especially if Dylan Strome goes, he's solidified into that number 1 C spot. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say on this is, Strome, Wilson, I have Chychrun lumped in here, Protas, even guys like PLD, Connor McMichael, everybody's shooting percentage was kind of inflated going into this year. So, do we see a wholesale regression from everybody, or is it just another surprising season? Because we started at the top of this, Washington segment, like they surprised us. And maybe it's not like out of left field. Maybe 2 curveballs in a row isn't a surprise anymore. But I don't know. Like I still think there's Ryan Leonard enters the fold. The team dynamic is a little bit different with the guys who left, the guys who came in. But still, it's still going to be largely the same group. Like how much has really changed? And going back to this formula that worked for them last year.
The core is still there.
The core's still there. And if, teams around them obviously changed, but I still think they're going to be able to get the goals. Tom Wilson hitting 30 plus is probably not going to be it, but Protas hitting 30. I don't know if they score less goals as a team, I guess.
I think they're gonna score less goals as a team. I mean, if like Protas 30 goals,
I just think it's going to redistribute. I think,
but he shot 20% last year, and prior to that, he was a 5% shooter over several years. So 20% it's a little suspect, right? And then same as Strome. Strome's a little bit more to go on, a little bigger sample size to go on. But he also had a crazy shooting percentage, not quite as bad, but still like high teens. So they're really, I don't know. It's I hope they do it again, but like that's everything going pretty perfectly for things to go that way. So
I'll definitely give you the shooting percentage on Protas, like for sure. But he attempted more shots than he ever had. He had more shots on goal than he ever had, and he had a big bump in ice time.
Yeah,
three minutes plus in ice time is a big fucking deal.
See, that's where I'm going to start to bring in I think Ryan Leonard starts to take those minutes from him, and that's where I kind of want to. We're going to draw in the next segment, the breakouts, the rest of the team as a whole. But Protas, man, he had 10 minutes of power play time on ice for the whole season. And he's good. I give it to him. Like he can score goals, but no power play time. And he's 6'6" and 250, dude. Like this is a big boy. And for some reason, he doesn't use it. He had 20 hits last year in the 76 games. So big body, not using it, can score goals, no power play time. I just don't know if Carberry used him as, we have to put somebody up there, or if he was actually the role or fit for the role, I guess, because he wasn't getting the power play time. So I don't know if the coach thinks he's an offensive archetype, like he's not that build. And Ryan Leonard is. Ryan Leonard played 9 games to Alexi Protas 76. And Ryan Leonard got a third of the total power play time on ice that Protas got. It's only 3.5 minutes. But when you think about Protas only having 10 and change for the entire season, that just, to me, that either shows that, we just want to give the kid some time, get him a feel for it, or this is a kid who is going to thrive in offensive situations. I don't think he's taking Tom Wilson's second line right wing spot, but Protas at 1 next to Strome, next to Ovechkin. If Ryan Leonard can steal that spot away and bring Protas down to the third line where he's not,
he's already year, though, in his first real year. I don't know if I see that happen.
Leonard's especially Protas prospect.
I know, but Protas obviously proved that he could do it.
Yeah, like why would you do that? You have a 30-goal guy.
Exactly.
Why? Let's just drop him down because this guy
all even strength minutes. Like what?
That's the thing. 30 goals. He has 1 power play point. 1 power play.
Coaches are really into keeping their even strength and power play lines together because they know how each other think. And Protas is just kind of good as he is. So I'm not trying to like shaft him on this next sound bite or whatever, but like he's a wasted spot for chemistry when it comes to the power play. You have a guy who's spending a ton of minutes with Dylan Strome and Alex Ovechkin at even strength, who's not going to carry that chemistry
power
to the power
play. Like,
so yes,
there's more. Like, I got to agree with Raj on this one.
That
like,
makes
it doesn't make sense to move him off.
That makes more sense.
There's 2 ways to settle this argument. Either you put Protas on the power play, or Ryan Leonard, who's already gotten power play time. 76 games for Protas last year. Saw power play time, I don't know, 2, 3 games, 4 games maybe. Ryan Leonard saw 9 games total and saw a third of the power play time.
Then had 1 point, 9 games.
It was an empty net goal, so whatever. But
here, this is
so let's throw him on the top fucking line. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Daily Faceoff's not the coach of the team, Raj. I have a problem with their projected lineups all the time. 2D.
I'm not saying that like I agree with you on that about Daily Faceoff, but at the same time, putting Ryan Leonard there just to me does not make sense. I gotta take Raj's side on this one.
Hey, if we're starting bets already, I think Ryan Leonard ends the season with more power play time than Protas.
I'm not saying that might not be true, but to take a 30-goal scorer off of the top line when he's obviously proven
a one-time 30-goal scorer,
just
an anomaly.
Yeah, how many 30-goal years does Leonard have?
Pace it out,
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
I guess he would be
how many empty netters is he going to get? He's going to get 30 empty netters next year. All right, let's move on. Do we have any more question marks here, Raj?
Question marks for Washington? I don't know. The whole team's pretty questionable. The whole thing. It feels like everything went way out of whack. Great for them last year. Like everything just seemed to go too good. So it just seems just as a same gut thing, like as a Zach gut take kind of thing. It just feels like things can't go that well again. But the only thing that really sticks out to me is Protas with his just wild jump in shooting percentage.
Yeah. So 30 goals on the back of an unsustainable shooting percentage, no power play time. I think there's a lot going against Protas here in terms of sustainability, in terms of his faith with the coach and their standing. I like him, and I hope either he gets power play time or he gets put in a more applicable deployment, because 15 minutes of even strength time, you can do that on the on the third line. One thing I do think we should touch on is what you got here, Raj, about Chychrun and Karlsson and the power play. I think there's a real conversation to be had here. This seems like a perfect season to pass the torch. 20 goals out of Chychrun, maybe the quietest 20-goal season of a defenseman we've had in a very long time. That's a big dent in the offense. As unsustainable as one could argue that it is, Chychrun seems like a really good fit for the top power play as well. Do they go 2D like that? Like Daily Faceoff suggests, or is Carlson the guy? Is Chychrun the guy?
Well, I think Chychrun is the guy, and that's kind of what I was getting at. And this was just their proposed one. And the thing that I was thinking about this is like Chychrun is the guy, but Carlson is the question. Right. And so I don't think to me, it's not a question of whether Chychrun's going to be the guy. I mean, he just performs so well. Carlson's obviously, I think, way better utilized now, where he can have a few minutes off as opposed to being the sole offensive guy. He can kind of slide back down into being more of a, because he's great all around, right? Like he can just take a few minutes off, focus on other things, because Chychrun can do it, and he's done it. And right, like, so
makes too
yeah,
much
I'm all in on that. I'm all in on that for sure.
So if it's, because I don't think 2D makes sense on a top power play unit, and if it's Chychrun or if it's Carlson, we can have the same conversation. I'm with you though. I do think Chychrun's, it's time. Like they made an investment, and he's kind of the future of the power play. I think the number 1D. As Carlson kind of starts to sunset, and even looking at the game log here for Chychrun, you finished the year, 100% of the power play time, 86% of the power play time, 88, 77, 53. And then there's a bunch of 14, 25 where it looks like he's power play 2, then 67. A lot of like really good power play share towards the end of the season. So maybe that torch was being passed gently into the playoffs. They probably went back to tried and true Carlson, but if it's just 1D, who gets that final spot on the power play? Is it Leonard? Is it Protas? Is it McMichael? PLD makes sense for face-offs on power play 2, so I don't know that I see that. But who's that fourth forward? I want to hear where you land on that one. Excuse me.
I mean, I would think it would be McMichael, but I know you want it to be Ryan Leonard so badly, so that's going to be our consensus, I guess. Because you'll just yell louder than I will. So
okay, I'll turn off my mic or kick you out of the damn chat here, man.
If you have to
from room,
do what you got to do, man.
No, I think McMichael makes a lot of sense. I think Leonard makes sense too, and I think Protas. Like, if it's just weird for them to go 80 games and just not give him a chance, there has to be a reason behind that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't go 80 games and not think, oh, what if our first line fucking guy plays with them on the power play too? No, the
thing it does too is if you can keep the whole top line together as the power play, it also just makes less disruption for the rest of, like, when you come off of a power 100%. Play, nothing changes. It's just another top line shift with maybe one other guy as opposed to one of the defensemen, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, it is weird that he had so little chance there. It just doesn't seem to make sense. So I think it's more likely that they'll just try to roll him in as opposed to
he got penalty kill time though.
So yeah, he's a different kind of player. And also,
exactly,
like, defensive-minded, huge
he had
body,
3 goals and 2 assists on the penalty kill.
What makes more sense for the third line
penalty kill?
If he's a checker, put him on a checking line. He can add scoring depth down there. And as we've been saying, both of you have been saying, the formula worked last year. So a part of that formula is not giving Protas power play time. Why would anything change?
I'm not advocating to give him power play time. I said about putting Connor McMichael on the number 1 power play.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I'm saying Protas is used in all these other situations. Like, if he's that effective on shorthanded, he's getting his minutes elsewhere. Like, don't get me wrong. That's all I'm getting at.
All right.
That's all I'm getting.
All right, let's move it. So I talked about most of my storylines here. As a team, I did want to say they had the 4th highest PDO. Winnipeg, Tampa, Dallas were the only teams with higher PDOs. Everybody at the top of the PDO charts were good teams, and you're going to find that. Like, not every team is going to be 100% at the end of the season. It's almost like they're stealing from other teams. Like, if you're a better team, your shooting percentage is going to be better than league average. That's just how it works. So, like, they're stealing save percentage from Anaheim Ducks. They're stealing it from Philly. Like, that's how PDO goes. So, yes, it's supposed to, like, come down to close to 100, but the better teams are going to be 3% better than an average team.
If you're better, you're better at things. That's what people have to remember about stats, right? Like, it's like if you're better, you're not the average. That's kind of why you're better.
And will and has to are very different things when it comes to analytics. Better teams are just better. Worse teams are just worse. Like, to say at the end of
Draisaitl is never going to come back down to the average.
Right. To say that, like, at the end of 82 games, which in data analytics, statistics, super small sample size, like, algorithms love 10,000 points of data. 82 is nothing. So Anaheim is not going to have 100% PDO at the end of the season, and they're not going to have the same shooting percentage, save percentage as Winnipeg. Like, things are just going to be different. So when you see a 103% PDO at the end of the year, don't be like, oh my God. But when you see, like, 5-game run of 120, that's when PDO starts to matter. So I'm not worried about their 104. Storylines for you guys, Zach. I like what you got here.
For me, we kind of touched on Logan Thompson a little bit, but in all honesty, he proved, in my opinion, that he wasn't just a passenger on that Stanley Cup winning Vegas team. Like, and I thought he was, while it was happening, I thought that they were all, it's almost like they were winning in spite of him. But he's moved to the Washington Capitals. His save percentage stayed right around his career average. He had a 9.10 last year. And then add on career best at goals against average at 2.49 and best quality start percentage, which is huge in my opinion, at 643. So I was impressed with Logan Thompson last year. So it proved to me that, it wasn't just a fluke. He's actually a good goalie. And I did.
He's great.
I honestly,
he's so
good.
But
I'm telling you, from the way I saw it back then, and I'm just talking about myself.
They kept going to Aiden Hill,
3 years ago, like, it seemed like he was a passenger on that team. Like, he was on the team. He got, he got to hold the Stanley Cup, but, like, it seemed to me like, he was just there for the ride. But clearly, I was wrong.
That's harsh, dude. That's harsh.
I'm being honest, though. I can at least be honest about it. But,
he's been great. He's been great always. He's pretty much always been great. And everyone just keeps saying, but he's not that great. And he's just always great.
He is. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. You've been doing fantastic. And last year he did better than he ever had been. And he's never had a down year. Not one.
This made me think about Ilya Samsonov, who still doesn't have a contract. It's weird,
but think about Samsonov when he was on Washington.
I'm not saying he was better than
he was definitely not better than Thompson.
Yeah. It's just, he's the best free agent goalie out there right now, and it's still strange not to see him. Like, teams are rolling into, we're gonna get to Philly, but Erison and fucking Danny Vladar,
Ugh.
I don't know.
Dan Vladar.
Anyway, off-season changes. Anthony Beauvillier is out. Anthony Beauvillier in. Am I reading that right?
In.
Yeah.
In.
And Declan
Chisholm in the mix.
In. Mangiapane goes to Edmonton. Lars Eller's out. Let's talk top targets. I think this one's pretty cut and dry. Ovi's going to be at the top of the draft board. I think Strome and Carlson probably find their way in those mid rounds. I think Tommy Wilson's still got a pretty hefty say in ADP. Whether it's bangers, whether it's points, we showed last year he can still do points. So he's going to be all over the place. We talked about the power plays. Let's get down to the streamer level, right? Like we're talking Protus, McMichael, Leonard, Marty Febbs is a favorite when we talk about bangers. I think Sandin is going to have some intermittent power play. He saw what he could do a couple years ago when he got top power play. Now there's a couple extra bodies in front of him on the totem pole. Who do you guys like as maybe didn't hit the draft, but who are going to be the first guys you run to when Washington has a good week?
I have Protus here. And even
he comes up a
lot. Even in what I wrote, don't get me wrong, I wrote about the unsustainable shooting percentage.
Yeah.
I even used that specific word. Like I'm not blind to what I see. It is definitely worrisome. But if he's still getting the ice time, if he's still getting top line time, because that really matters. That's going to really matter. I'm not lying to you. I get it. It is really going to matter. But if he still gets that top line time with Ovi and Strome, he's still going to be viable. And as far as power play time, if he gets that, then it's just icing on the cake. But yeah, if I don't know that he's going to be super widely in a redraft league, super widely drafted. If he is, you're going to get him at a discount. But it's not like you're going to have to overpay for him, in my opinion. But I think he could be a part of a winning team. I do.
Our mock drafts are 19 rounds deep, and I think Protus has been going, like, if he gets drafted at all, he's going in the last round.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I have him as a streamer candidate. And he is a possible goal scorer or at the very least a point scorer, because he's very feasibly going to get an assist with being on the line with Ovi.
Oh yeah. Raj, it sounded like you had something on that one.
Well, it's just if he's available, which I guess he is, like it seems like he's going to be available as a super late rounder. To me, he should be a guy that you just take in the late rounds, because if you're telling me that a 30-goal guy is like gettable in the last round or two, like why are you not doing that? Like 66 points. He had more points by one, but he had more points than Tom Wilson last year. Like he had almost other than the hits, he had a very similar stat line to Tom Wilson last year. Right? Tom Wilson had 65 points, Protus had 66. And that's with Tom Wilson getting power play. So I mean, if you're not taking Protus in the last round or two, that's crazy to me.
That's also assuming somebody thinks he's going to be a 30-goal scorer again. And that's where I think even the guys, like I want to pull up the draft board right now. I'm still compiling the handfuls of drafts that we've had so far in terms of like building our own ADP sheet out. But
isn't the very end of the draft the perfect time, though, to take a swing?
I've been getting like
on a player.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
perform or could not perform. That's a perfect time to do it.
You're going to get Tom Wilson in like the top 10 rounds. You're going to get the Protus in like the last round. That's a big difference.
But I think what you guys are
for similar stats
misinterpreting here is that there's nobody else to draft in the last round. I've been getting like Mikhail Granlund, who could be a top line center for Anaheim. Yes, it's not as sexy of a team or anything, but that's big fish, small pond. And I think there's still options out there. It's not to say that Protus isn't one of those options or something to that effect, but maybe it just doesn't work for some people. I'm trying to pull up something here that would show me the draft results, because I want to see what the last round actually looks like. All right. Stuart Skinner, Cole Perfetti, Josh Norris went in the last round. Snuggerud, Zucker, Voronkov, Merzlikins,
another 30-goal scorer,
Teravainen, Barbashev. So a lot of guys like Bertuzzi, Mason Lohrei, Jeremy Swayman going in the last round. There's guys out there. Let me see if Protus went.
Yeah, I think
Protus actually did go in the 16th round here.
I think we're in it's July and we're drafting and it's crazy time drafts because that's nuts.
Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason that Bertuzzi and Norris should be available in the 19th round, or Jeremy Swayman.
Josh Norris is he's a glass man. So
that's crazy. Jeremy
Swayman's kind of wild. Yeah,
that's nuts.
Come on,
starting.
I would be so happy. Like I would just take him just because it's kind of like when something's so cheap at the store and you're like, oh my god, you know,
it'd be a bad deal not to buy this.
10 packs,
I'm practically losing money here.
$10 for 10 packs of pudding. I can't afford not to buy it.
Well, that's how Mr. Noodles has survived.
Who's Mr. Noodles? What the fuck are you talking about?
Don't you guys have Mr. Noodles in the United States? It's a ramen.
You almost said the word in the UK. You almost said
instant
UK.
ramen.
Yeah, we were talking about Yoo-Hoo before, and you were like, "I've never had a Yoo-Hoo."
Oh, you never had Yoo-Hoo?
Wow.
Yoo-Hoo is dope, son.
Yeah,
Yoo-Hoo
I'll send you a Yoo-Hoo. You take the return package and send me a fucking Mr. Noodles.
Don't bother sending me Mr. Noodles.
We have like Maruchan. I made Desi his first ramen the other day. Oh yeah, we got Maruchan for that. But I made Desi his first ramen the other day. The ramen noodles cooked into an omelet. He fucking loved it.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome.
I don't like ramen noodles. Hot take. I hate ramen noodles.
Oh. I like the spicy one, like Shin Ramen.
Unpopular opinion.
And the what was the other one? Bulldog. I like Bulldog.
But like going to an actual noodle place, like a pho, like a pho restaurant, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'll go to ramen. Like I get a chashu ramen. Our favorite spot, Soho, around here. Like the kids love it. Anytime we're like, let's go get ramen, they're all for it. Desi fucking love it. Dude, Maggie, 5 years old, she crushes chopsticks. She's like naturally good at them. We gave her them one time, and she was just like eating her salad with it like a little,
That's awesome.
I was like, damn. And they were Korean chopsticks too. She was really good at it. All right. My breakout candidate, Ryan Leonard, we're getting really into the weeds. I was just about to be like, you guys know the difference between Japanese chopsticks and Korean chopsticks? Chinese chopsticks are longer and they're square. Japanese are more rounded and the shortest.
Shout out One Saigon pho.
Ryan Leonard is my breakout candidate. I'm planting my flag on him. I think just the pedigree that he's got as a prospect, I think he's going to be showcased in a certain way. I think he will eventually take the top line from Protus, and that's where I'm planting my flag. And I really think that's going to happen. So get ready for some bias from me all season. I'm planting my flag, okay?
We're going to get demonetized if you say that.
Yeah. I just left Texas. All right. Ghislaine Maxwell was on the return plane. No big deal. Jokes. I didn't see her. Anyway. So yeah, get ready for some bias from me about Ryan Leonard, because I'm going to only be talking about him when he's doing well, and going to conveniently forget about him when he's not. And when he's doing well, I'm going to pretend like I was right the whole time. Okay. So just get ready. Zach?
What happens if you're wrong?
Then we never talk about it again. We just pretend.
Fair enough.
I'm going with this from the internet.
The other Connor McWho? Not Connor McDavid.
Delete
Connor
the internet.
Connor McMichael.
Mike.
Yeah, so I think that he has a chance to be the breakout candidate this year. I'll give you the Ryan Leonard thing, but I don't know that Ryan Leonard is going to score enough points for myself to be able to consider him a breakout candidate. I think Connor McMichael can do that. He was just under 60 points last year. He had 57 points, 26 goals, 31 assists. He did get some power play time, not a ton, but 4 of those goals were on the power play, 6 of those assists. A guy that, got a bump in time on ice, a minute, not as much as we talked about with Protus. But he played all 82 games. Last year, he played 80 games. He's a relatively healthy player. And, in my opinion, kind of like Protus, I think that he proved himself last year. And I think he's going to continue to get more time on ice, more opportunity. And, I love the fact that, dude, he attempted a ton of shots last year. Hit the goal on about, a little over half of them. He's shooting. He's I like it. And once again, hey, I know you always love the shooting percentage. Shooting percentage was not crazy overinflated. 14.7 shooting percentage with a career average of 12.6. That tells me that he can do it again and possibly do even better, especially if he gets more opportunity. I'm going Connor McMichael.
The kid was on fire up till Christmas, and then he kind of created for a little bit. But if he can have that like pre-Christmas energy all year, I think between these two and Protas, whoever is that fourth forward on the power play, if they decide not to go 2D, is going to be the breakout candidate. I think it just really comes down to that. Whoever's the fourth.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to go 2D on the power play. It's just that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be Chychrun. I hope that's what you think it's going to be. But yeah, I think Connor McMichael has a good chance to be that fifth player on the D or on the power play. Let's get the boys some PP.
Yeah, him and Leonard. I'll give it like those are the two guys that I could see fitting the mold for that final spot on the power play. Raj, you got anybody for breakouts?
Not really. I mean, I'm thinking if Ryan Leonard does it, great. I wouldn't even. I mean, McMichael had 26 goals last year, so he's not even breaking out, as it were. But if Ryan Leonard gets the chance, maybe he can. But other than that, I think like it's more of a team of breakdowns. Like it was just so high last year. It was just so high. There's way more chance of regression across the board than there is of breaking out.
Chychrun is my regression candidate. Like a 20 goal defenseman to me is an easy place to put your money when you're betting on who's gonna have less points next year. It's probably gonna be the 20 goal defenseman who played most of his time on power play too. So and again, this one comes back to the top power play. If he gets that top power play, I think he's right back to flirting with 50 points. But if we're talking second power play, they stick with Carlson, the regression hits a little harder. And maybe we're talking about a half point per game guy.
I mean, I hope that he doesn't regress. I actually have him later on here in our next segment as a sleeper candidate because I think that he can do it again. As far as regression candidates,
in like the 7th.
Who,
Chychrun's going, right around like Dylan Larkin, Eric Carlson, Seth Jones, Dougie Hamilton, Noah Dobson, just for some other defenseman candidates. John Carlson's actually going later, which is it's good. The sentiment is there for Chychrun to take over that power play as far as the pulse in the fantasy community.
So for my regression candidate
in July,
I really hate to say it, but I got the handsome motherfucker that is Tom Wilson on here. Now, he is not going to get less handsome. He's just going to age like a fine wine. I guarantee you that. But, he had a career year. Like we talked about earlier. He had the most goals that he's ever had, the most assists, the most points, the highest shooting percentage, of his entire career. And it's not like he's only been in the league for a couple of years. You know what I mean? He's been around the block a few times. So, I just don't know if he can continue that. Now I would expect that he's going to get, top power play. I don't think that we have to worry about him getting bumped off that. But if he can have another healthy season, he played 81 games last year. I think that he could definitely give you a shot at having 60 points again, but I'm not banking on it. I'm really not. It's the shooting percentage that definitely kind of scares me. Now, he's always been a higher shooting percentage guy. It's not like he's shooting below 10% on average, but he was flirting with 20% this year. He was at 19.5.
That's a little high for him.
Yeah, that is a lot for him.
You gotta be banging around, man. What are you doing? All right, so we lifted Protas up this whole time. Raj, who's your regression candidate?
Well, I just took a huge handful of these
Mr. Noodles.
No, Planters.
You with your hands.
Spicy dill pickles.
Oh,
spicy dill pickle peanuts. Sorry.
Oh my god.
That's not going to regress. All right, so Protas is your guy, and that's an easy bet, right?
Let's just
So,
say
yeah,
that
like
peanuts are maybe not the best thing to eat on a
Unmuted.
yeah. Yeah, so get some
Yes.
spicy dill chips next. Maybe some.
I do
Frito
have
Lay's.
some spicy dill potato chips in the next room, but I didn't.
Why don't you
bring those
just
here?
eat
Go
peanut
to-
butter
go to
with your
Sonic
tongue
and get
right
one.
out of the jar?
Yes. Fucking
Let's
dog.
get serious here. I mean, the
I
most
hope I
obvious
am serious.
is obviously Protus and his 30 goals
Yeah.
and his percentage. We've been talking about it the whole time. So, as much as I think he is great, I think it's definitely more likely he's a 21 goal guy kind of thing next year.
I'm with you.
I will say though, if he can continue to be a 20 goal scorer in the NHL,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a place.
Yeah,
On the
I
third
think
line,
I think
yeah.
he's good, but he's not going to be 30 goals every
There's
year.
not many 20 goal scorers on third lines.
All right. This goalie situation for the Washington Capitals, I think, is a pretty easy bet. 50-50. It's what they did last year. It seems to be the formula that works for them. Both goalies thrived under this 50-50 split, back and forth, one game. And I think they run it back same way. Are we ready to move on to Philly? We spent 40 minutes on Washington, and I hate to think that at the end of this, we're going to be like, all right, let's talk about Carolina in 2 minutes.
Fair enough, but I would just
All right.
like to say both goalies didn't thrive. Logan Thompson was way better.
Yeah, okay.
Significantly
Lindgren
better
was
in
still pretty
every
good.
way.
Yeah. No,
It was like
there's no
894
argument
kinda
who's
good.
the 1A. All right.
Yeah.
It's like a 1A and a 1D.
I mean, I hate to say it, but let's just be honest. We're probably not going to be talking about Philadelphia too long.
It's true. I think a
Like,
lot
I
of what we're
hate
going to be
to say
talking
I
about
hate to
here
say it.
is the fact that we don't have John Tortorella anymore in Philadelphia, that we don't have
Huzzah!
that we, just the changes with personnel, whether it's Trevor Zegras coming in or Rick Tocchet. But Philly below 500, 33, 39, and 10. They were last in the Metro, last in the Eastern. Goals for per game, even 3.45 goals against per average, with the league worst team save percentage. Power play was 28th, so we're finally getting out of the 30s in the power play. Rocky Thompson is gone, and no longer our power play coach. That's awesome. Off nights rank, they are right in the middle with 28. Back-to-backs tied with Washington for the third most. So you're going to be seeing Danny Vladar, Samuel Ersson a bunch. And I don't know how that plays out. They were the league worst last year. So is Vladar a starter? Is that where we're putting our money? I don't know. For me, the biggest question mark is just straight up Rick Tocchet. What does a non-Tortorella Flyers look like? Is there going to be stability in the lines? Is there going to be more generic time on ice when you come to think about like what a top line time on ice should be, second line, third line, etc.? Are there more defined roles? And what does the Vladar Ersson split look like? Again, league worst save percentage. Are they going to be 50-50? Are we going to shift our focus to Vladar and then have Ersson be a backup? And then, Kolosov, the rest of the goddamn goalies. You remember that season we had 9 fucking goalies?
Yeah.
Mrazek,
Yeah,
Cam
sure
Talbot.
do.
So many goddamn goalies.
Sure do.
It feels like that might happen again because we have so many kind of lined up, promised the role to. But I don't know. Raj, let's get your take on Tocchet. I see you got a big wall of orange here. Just fitting for the Flyers.
Well, it's I think all of my questions, breakouts, storylines, everything kind of revolves around Tocchet, but more so in a storyline way than in reality. Like, I think Tocchet's the big question because he was such a polarizing dude in Vancouver. But I think the thing, I think he's going to be a lot better for Philly. I mean, the big question is Tocchet's like a legend in Philly, right? Like he's one of the more all-around tough guy, also great guys. So coming home is kind of this whole homecoming, blah, blah, blah. But
a big Chris Pronger, but
yeah, I don't know. Chris Pronger doesn't seem too bright to me. Tocchet, like the thing that Tocchet was
like fight with Joel on Twitter and stuff.
Yes, he does. He
tweeting
does.
at Joel.
Well, yeah, Joel fights with him. I've fought with Grant Fuhr a whole bunch recently. But the thing I think that Tocchet has learned that's going to benefit him in Philly is, dude, Konechny going to regress? No, dude, Konechny and Tocchet are going to be going out for lunch. Yeah, they're going to be getting eggs Benny's downtown before games. Like those guys are going to hit it off, man.
Listening on the pod and not on YouTube, CG just asked a question. He says he's in Vancouver, so he's going to be right down. He's going to find where you live, Raj, if this turns out to be false. He asks, is Konechny going to regress? Tocchet preaches defense first. He's in Vancouver. Thanks, fellas. Tortorella preached defense first, and it wasn't so much that he preached, and he was kind of a dictator about it, right? Like he was like defense fascist. If you're not going to do it, you're going to sit in the fucking box. I think Tocchet's going to be a little more lenient, but that's Philly. Well, we just hope about stuff, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to be as strict, and I think offense is going to have a place to thrive here. It's not going to be 75% defense, 25% offense like it was under Torts, at least. I think so.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what I had in mind here is like Torts is the old schoolest of old schoolest. And old school is fine, but you can't be a dickhead on top of that. And that's what Tortorella was. Like, Tocchet's old school, but he's also like a little bit more smart, a little bit more smarter. Kind of,
I was watching him. I was watching a clip of talk about, this dump and chase Mishkov clip that's going around, and Taco's like, "Yeah, of course you're gonna hate dump and chase when you skate 3 fucking miles an hour." He was like chirping Mishkov. He was like, I don't want to talk outside school. I'm gonna make fun of him to his fucking face. Like I'm gonna say this to him. Talk just
no, I think they're gonna. One thing that Tocchet has that's different, like, is Tortorella's just kind of a dick. Tocchet's like one of the boys, like, and that's the one thing that's good about Tocchet.
Really, really good vibe.
Well, he was a player, so I mean that.
Well, exactly, and he's the most playerist of players, right? Like he was all kinds of the game at the same time, right? Like points, penalty minutes, fights.
Perfect for Philly, yeah.
Giver. So all that combined, I think he's gonna actually. I think the one thing he learned is. A little because of Patterson in Vancouver, I think he's learned how to baby babies, and that's the one thing that's going to be different. And I think that's going to be huge between Michkov and Zegras because those are the meal tickets as far as I see it.
So my son is finally getting to the age where he's like doing shit to bug me on purpose, and he'll do it, and then he'll look directly over at me. And right now, that's what I'm picturing, like Mishkov and Zegras doing is just fucking going out there doing Michigans left and right, just like peeking over the shoulder, looking at Tocchet. Like,
yeah,
did you see me, Dad?
Hey, Dad.
I'm doing that fucking thing you hate.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think there's a little bit less expectation in Philly, where like Vancouver like came off of just a super, which Tocchet was there for, but a super hot time. And just his style caught up to him where it's like they were meant to be like sort of turning into semi-elite, right? Whereas Philly is like trying to get from the dump into maybe let's hope of the playoffs at some point soon.
CG would like
I think
to
it's more
remind
Tocchet style.
About Tocchet had no time for Kuzmenko. And for me, Kuzmenko is just the Shane Gostisbehere of forwards who's god awful except on the power play. And when Philly's fucking, last in the range for the power play, it's not going to matter. Tocchet or Tortorella didn't have time for Kuzmenko either. Neither did Tocchet.
No, and look what happened when we went to LA. Like, smart coaches know what to do with a guy like Kuzmenko. And the thing is, like, in Philly, you don't have to be that smart of a coach right now.
I think Toc did the same thing with him, too. Like, his first year in Vancouver, he was just a tip-in machine. And it was a ton of power play points.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like that's the one thing that Tocchet has learned. I hope if he hasn't, Philly's sunk. But if he has, is all like right. Just that you have to let those guys do those things.
I gotta hear Zach's question marks on Philly, so we can move on.
I mean, I don't have a ton of question marks. I really just want. I want them to look like an NHL team. That's all I really want. I want them to be a tough out, kind of. You know what I mean? Am I expecting them to be at the top of the Metro? No. But I just want them to make a little bit of waves. I don't want to
Such a
watch
good
a
year to be
Philly,
bad.
watch a Flyers game and just know that they're gonna fucking lose. Tired of that. Like I love the Flyers. You know what I mean? So like I'll still watch Flyers games and then it's upsetting. So
We
really
just got to
I
be
just
bad
want them
for
to
one more year for Gavin
uh,
McKenna. And if purely for nothing else, then please don't let the Penguins
I want
get Gavin
gold.
McKenna. Please, for the love of fuck.
You know they are. You know
I know they are. I know they
Yeah,
are.
the
It's so
NHL is
annoying.
gonna
And
the NHL is gonna make it happen.
oh my God, I'm so annoyed already. It's a year before the fucking draft, and I'm already annoyed about it.
They're gonna make it
all right.
happen.
So for me, the storyline that's going to kind of like paint the picture for the rest of the season when it comes to Philadelphia is just how much impact does Tocchet have? What does he do with the line? So it's going to be super hard to project this team just based on all the turmoil. And I feel like there's no bigger change. Yes, there's been a lot of like coaching changes. Mike Sullivan in New York is going to be pretty big just based on how bad of a year the New York Rangers had. But I think going from Tortorella to anybody else probably tops the ranks for the biggest coaching change for any team. It doesn't matter what team it was, how good they were in the standings, just like getting away from Tortorella, addition by subtraction. So for us, our biggest, I don't know, like it's something you put in the win column, like the, check mark in the win column, whatever, is just the fact that Tortorella is not going to be there anymore. I was kind of an apologist for Tortorella. I think he was teaching the young guys, like he's the drill instructor, right? Like you hate him while you have him, but then years later, you're like, fuck, all right, that guy kind of knew what the hell he was talking about. And I think the lessons that Tortorella drilled into these guys are going to turn into instincts. And I think Tocchet's going to benefit from that. And it's, nobody's ever going to thank Tortorella for that. So, I just wanted to put that out there. Yes, he was not good for the win column, but I think he, in the long run, is going to harvest a lot of these wins. At least, his name should be at least with an asterisk for the instincts that these kids have. Maybe it's instinct, maybe it's PTSD, whatever you call it. Zach, what do you think? What's your storyline here?
I want to know if Zegras can work in Philly. Like I'm one of the few people, and I know that even from when it first came out and we were talking about it, I was excited about it. So I want to know if Zegras can work in Philly, or is it Dvorak that'll make a bigger impact? I think that Zegras will, because he showed that he can be a 60-point guy. You
got a picture for the Flyers lineup. Sorry,
but
Zach.
he showed that he could be. It's all good. He showed he could be a 60-point guy in Anaheim twice. So if you can do that in Anaheim, then I'm thinking, you put him with the young guys that we have here in Philly, then I think it could work. As far as Dvorak goes, I think an upgrade, I think just an upgrade out of Arizona, playing, at least they're playing in an actual stadium instead of on a, roller.
How many years back are you going
playing.
talking about Arizona? Wasn't Dvorak? Where was he? He was.
He's been all over the place recently. But yeah, no, I feel like that's when he was the most viable. Is back when he was in Arizona.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? When he was actually on people's tongues. The past couple of years, he kind of hasn't been. However, Dvorak, I don't know how many people know this, but he is elite in the faceoff circle. So one thing that will do is that will give Dvorak a lot of offensive starts.
Yeah.
Because if he's so good in the in the circle, then you're going to put him when you need the puck. You know what I mean? When we're down on their end of the ice, we need the puck, boys. I'm putting Dvorak in to win that puck, and that's how points happen. It's I'm just doing the math here.
Well,
so
DFO,
I think that.
Sorry. I think the overarching theme, like kind of behind the Zegras bit, with management saying that they are going to be playing Zegras at center. Daily Faceoff has Zegras on the wing still. Who's our number 1C? I think Dvorak came in as he was a purchase for us in free agency with money that we can spend so that we can deal him at the trade deadline for a first round pick, whatever it may be. Retain 50% because $5 million is kind of a rough pill to swallow. It's only for 1 year, but I think we retain 50%, trade him for a first, see what we can get. But going back to your point, Zach, great in the faceoff dot. He's going to get a lot of offensive zone starts. I think you're bang on with that one. Does he kind of worm his way to a number 1C spot? Does he play with Mishkov and Konechny? Because not only does that
Coots is getting old, man.
From his, and he was never really the same after the injury. But Dvorak in a number 1 role with Mishkov and Konechny, again, hypothetical, but if we bring Dvorak in for the sole purpose of flipping him at the deadline, which has not been confirmed, but all the context clues lead to that conclusion. What better place to put him than number 1C, where he's going to be playing with Mishkov and Konechny, our 2 best players, and really pad his stats, win 60% of the faceoffs in the offensive zone, get it to Mishkov, get it to Konechny, and get a 60-point Christian Dvorak that we can flip for a first, maybe plus at the trade deadline. So as much as I want it to be Zegras, just because that would be, I think, poetic, bring in the number 1 center and make that work. Zegras and Mishkov playing together with Konechny is kind of a good vibe. But I think Dvorak makes the most sense. I think Coots is probably our number 2C, playing with Tips and fuck whoever else. Like, it gets really bleak after that.
It's really bleak. Like, you're saying it gets bleak after a 33-point guy. Like, that's
shit, dude. Yeah.
Dvorak had 33 points, dude.
All right. I think, I'll take the over in Philly, where he's probably going to be top 6. Like, I think that's pretty
I think he's going to be way over 33 points. Like,
yeah, this is even as small a punt as you can get.
Could even be low 40s.
So Philly, on the whole, they added Zegras, Vladar, Dvorak, Denny Gilbert, who's going to bang up a storm, Noah Juleson, Lane Peterson. They got rid of Pelletier, just didn't offer him a contract. I forget where he signed. Tampa, I think, picked him up. Ali Lixell's out, Cal Peterson, Ben Gleason, Louis Belpedio. They re-signed Cam York. Love that contract. Tyson Forster, who might not be ready for the beginning of the season with an elbow. I think it's an infection. Noah Cates, Helge Grans, Oscar Eklund, and Rodrigo Abels. Top targets out of Philly. I got to put Mishkov at the top. Actually, I got to put Konechny at the top. Sorry, let me start that one over. Mishkov right behind him. Maybe not an ADP, but in terms of Philly, right behind him. And then Zegras probably a distant third. And I would put Jamie Drysdale in there because I think he's going to be your top power play quarterback. I think he's going to be QB1. You got to love that chemistry between Zegras was talking about, me and Drysdale used to pee together all the time. Like, those are the boys. They're boys. Like, they're going to be on the power play together. And I think Zegras is a power play 1 guy. I think we finally have a solidified power play 1 in Drysdale. York is supposed to be the guy, but I think
for the record, he had 20 points last year.
Drysdale?
20 points.
So he's what? 3rd on the team? Like, what do you want? Yeah, what do you want, man? What do you want? How'd Pedersen do?
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
We're not comparing. Right? We're not comparing. Like,
what's the opposite of someone's got to score? Someone's got to play defense. Like, that's what Philly is. Like, fuck, it was so bad. It was Konechny.
At least we know who we are in Philly. You know what I mean? It's not like we're going around telling people that we're awesome. Unlike
we literally have a song. We literally have a song. We're from Philly. We don't. Nobody likes us.
No one likes us.
We're the best.
No one likes us.
No
one likes us. No one likes us.
Yeah. But they did a lot. They, it's not big moves. Zegras is a big move, but I don't know. For me, Zach, your streamer candidate is actually my breakout candidate. I think this kid's going to have a good year. I think Tockett's going to be great if you want to lead into your streamer section of Philadelphia Flyers.
I got Owen Tippett. I would expect that the younger guys are going to take a step forward, which I think is really going to help Tippett. Obviously, he's a more he's been around longer, I guess is what I'm getting at. So with these younger guys hopefully taking a step forward, I think that it's going to be good. He's been a 20-goal scorer in all of his seasons with Philly, and I would expect him to still do the same. So I have Owen Tippett here, and he's a guy that's definitely going to be available.
He's my breakout candidate, and I think you can see it in his statistics in the shots on goal per game column. 3 shots on goal per game his first year in Philly, 3.7 his second year in Philly, 2.4 third year in Philly. John Tortorella's most recent year. And I think there's a serious case of Tortorella fatigue across the team. And I think it kind of the most pronounced with Owen Tippett, who is going to get a fresh look. Tocchet and Raj, correct me if I'm wrong, but he seems like a guy who front loads his even strength lineup, like takes the talent and pushes it as far up as he can until somebody more talented is above you in the depth chart. And Tippett, to me, when we're looking at the depth chart of the Philadelphia Flyers, there's not many players who are better than him on the right side. It's Travis Konechny. So for me, Owen Tippett is our number 2 right wing, and he's going to stay there. I don't think Bobby Brink beats him out. I don't think Garnet Hathaway beats him out. And on the left side, you have Mishkov, and I don't know. I guess Tippett can move to that side, but I also think Zegras is going to be a center. So we'll see what happens. But for me, Tippett's a top 6, top power play guy who's going to be under a new coach who will let offense thrive relative to John Tortorella a whole hell of a lot more. And I think Tippett's really going to rebound and kind of get rejuvenated. Tortorella fatigue, I think, is huge. So for me, Tippett is going to be the breakout candidate out of Philly. He's going to wind up on waiver wires out of the draft, and I think he winds up being a hold by Christmas. That's my guess.
Raj, I almost put your player that you're going to be saying for breakout, but I figured, I like the way that you put bounce back, because I was like, oh, but he already kind of broke out, so I picked Bobby Brink, and I wasn't even like in love. I wasn't even in love with somebody,
right?
Yeah, someone's got to score. So
let's not talk about Brink. Let's go to Raj.
Well, my whole thing about Bobby Brink is at least he's made progression. He's made progression each year. That's why I put him in this in this slot, because if he does get a larger role and more chances, I think he could get 60 points. He has, he did flirt with it. So I think it's a possibility. But yeah, so I put Bobby Brink here. I mean, it's not like he scored no points. He scored 41 points in 79 games. It's not horrible. Decent shooting percentage.
Raj, let's hear yours. I dig it too.
Zigs.
Well, I mean, I just think if you want to call him a bounce back or a breakout or whatever.
I like that.
I mean, it's just, I don't like, change of scenery is all he needs. Now, all of a sudden, he's an 87-point player out of nowhere. But that's silly.
I don't think anyone's saying that.
No, but people do use that a lot, right? Like, oh, it's just he needs a change of scenery, and now he's way better. Like that might be like a 4-point difference.
Pete Jensen level take, yeah,
yeah, right. Like, but the thing is, I do think he needs a change of scenery. Like, it's pretty tough to get stoked when you post a couple of good seasons, like you did in Anaheim, a couple 60-pointers, and it's just like the team just keeps getting worse. Mm-hmm. It's like we're doing a rebuild, except we're getting worse and worse and worse. So we're building a team around. So I think I really think, like, I don't think you can expect him to like be all of a sudden like an 80-point guy or anything. But as far as like breaking out of his slump that he's been in, I think Zegras is definitely going to do that. Like, I think he's going to be up into your 60s, maybe 65. If you get really lucky, 65 to 70 points might be a real thing.
I think it's also, I think it's big the fact that, like, from all the reports that, he's enjoying his teammates in Philly and stuff like that, like, he's enjoying the team. they're all kind of like bonding and becoming an actual team.
Just pissing together.
They're all they're all peeing together, crossing streams, little sword fighting. Got to do what you got to do.
CG wants to know if the assistant coaches for Philly have been named yet. Yeah, we got Todd Reardon, Dylan Crawford, Yaroslav Savkashki, and Jay Verratti, who I don't know those last two guys, but Reardon, he's reared his head in the National Hockey League before. Yeah.
I think we can all agree that there are no regression candidates.
Just because
nobody did good enough to regress.
Yep.
Are you going to regress from bad? I guess you could regress from bad to worse.
You can regress positively. And I think we get a lot of that. But yeah, I don't think anybody does worse. Konechny, again, Tortorella fatigue. I think he does pretty well next year. My sleeper candidate for this team, I talked a little bit about Owen Tippett. I think he's going to provide value. It might take a little time, but I think he's going to do it. Jamie Drysdale is my sleeper candidate out of this team. And I'm not trying, kind of what Raj was saying. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be a league winner or anything, but I think he's going to be somebody you can grab in the late rounds who's going to wind up on a top power play. And I think it's going to be a much improved power play, not middle of the pack, but not 28th or 30th anymore. So I think there's going to be power play points to be had. Rocky Thompson's gone. Thank fuck. And I think there's going to be a Zegras Drysdale chemistry that needs to carry over to the power play. So Zegras seems like a top power play guy. I think Drysdale winds up there too, just as a result by default. And I mean, I know he really likes Sanheim, Tocchet that is, but I just don't know if Sanheim's like power play build. So I got Drysdale there, and I like him as kind of sleeper-esque, where he's going to, late round pick, fucking bottom of your roster defenseman, get you some power play points.
We all have Zegras different places because I put Zegras as the sleeper.
Yeah, not bad.
Well, because I think he's going to be available late in the draft or not drafted at all. Like I think honestly, I think he'll be drafted, but I think that he's not going to go until the later rounds. So like that's what I put a sleeper candidate out. I put a sleeper candidate as somebody that is going to outperform where they're drafted, and I think that Zegras definitely has a chance of doing it.
All right. Kind of talked about the goalie situation already. Not sure what's going to happen there, but it'll probably flirt around 50-50. Carolina, that's where it's going to bring us. Lots of change here. 47-30 and 5 ousted in the conference final. I think they made it. So standing second in the Metro. Goals for per game, 3.74. Really good goals to goals against Delta there. 2.77 goals against. Their power play was 25th in the league, so a lot of improvement they can do there. Off nights rank right in the middle this year at 28, and back-to-back they have the second most, which is going to be good for Kochkov and for Freddie, who each get hurt at different times, and they don't. Spencer Martin's gone. I think they got Caden Primo, so maybe we'll see him a little bit. I forget who the third stringer is.
Dude, they've never had a good power play, though. It's not like
all the players they need to have a good power play.
But they just don't. They never have. All these past couple of years where they've actually been good, going back 4 or 5 years, power play has always been their problem. But they've always had one of, if not the best, penalty kill.
This playoffs, everybody says, "Oh, the refs put their whistles away in the playoffs." I felt like this year's playoffs might have been one of the most power plays I've ever seen in a playoff. I guess in the last 10 years. Like, it felt like there were, especially with Edmonton, because anytime they were on the power play, you're like, all right, Edmonton, fucking McDavid's going to score here. But it seemed like a lot of fucking power plays. There was one game in the final where there were nothing but power plays in the first period. Jesus.
Which is ridiculous.
I haven't looked at the numbers, but you also tend to notice as soon as Edmonton's on the power play. Like, you don't even have to check the stats. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Look at this display.
All right. So in terms of additions, obviously Nikolai Ehlers is in, Keandre Miller's in. They re-signed Taylor Hall. Mike Riley comes in. Caden Primo's there. Amir Miftakov. Never heard of that guy. Subtractions. Fucking God, what's that? Their second pairing, their whole second pairing. Brent Burns, Dmitry Orlov, Jesper Fast, Scott Morrow, Riley Stillman, Spencer Martin. They re-signed Freddie Anderson, Taylor Hall, like I said. Stankoven got a really nice contract. Eric Robinson and Tyson Yost got contracts as well.
So Jackson Blake.
Oh, Jackson Blake. Yeah, that was just in the past couple of days, right? Like,
I don't know why, but he did.
Yeah, it was a big one too, but a huge bet from management. So, and I mean, Brindamore loves him, giving him power play time, taking it away from Svechnikov. We'll see what happens with Svech. Terrible fucking season last year.
Svech is a bust. I told you before, Svech is a bust, dude.
Trying to tell you guys for years, and I think
so we're
gonna get it again because now you got Ehlers, who's probably going to solidify himself. You know, Brindamore moves everybody around except for Sebastian Aho, and that's out of necessity. Your second line center is fucking Jesperi Kotkaniemi, so you don't have another option. But everybody else moves around. Everybody else. It's a time-lapse photo. Everybody else is blurred except for Sebastian Aho. He's the only one staring at the camera, the only one in focus. Everybody else is fucking getting jumbled. But I think Ehlers joins him.
It should be Ehlers, Aho, Jarvis. Top line.
Yes.
Boom. And that should just be the way it is.
You would like to think that this year, Brindamore is like, hey, maybe the one thing I'm missing is building chemistry with these fucks. And that's why having a different lineup literally every period, every game is getting us
nowhere
out of the playoffs.
Well, it's getting you far. It's getting you far enough.
Far enough. Yeah, after 8 years, like Brindamore has been the coach for 8 years. These guys have built up enough chemistry through fragmented shifts together. They have built their own chemistry. It's forced chemistry. It's almost Stockholm syndrome. They're starting to like get used to each other. But like if you just keep them together the whole fucking season, they can start reading each other's minds and be unstoppable. And then you can carry that chemistry to the power play, and you won't be at the bottom of the goddamn league in the power play. Who knows? Maybe the 9th time's the charm, Rod Brindamore. This season, you can keep your lines together. Hate that guy. Hope his kids don't learn to read. I'm sure they can read by now.
They're gonna be going into the what his one son plays for. Shit, who's he played for? It's not Michigan. He plays for a good college hockey team. As far as question marks go, I think really the real question is, can they get it done this year? Like no, I don't think they can either. I agree. But the question always is, can they get it done? And they always fizzle out. They always before the season starts and even going into the playoffs, they always have one of, if not the best odds to win. Like going into the playoffs this last year, didn't they have the high the best odds to win?
They're the worst best bet.
Yeah, that's what. How many times have I told you that? Like I should have been making these bets this whole time because I was like, I just want to bet on them to lose and I would win, like non-stop. All the time. But that really is the problem. Can they get it done? I believe they're tied with the Avalanche for second best odds at plus 800, and I think and obviously it's the Panthers. Makes sense. With plus 400.
Yeah, it's not the year.
No.
Raj, what do you think, bud? What do you think about the Carolinas?
I try not to think about Carolina that much.
Fair. Charlotte is the worst airport in the world. Hate it. Is that where you had to drop Karina off this morning?
No, I live in Raleigh, asshole.
Yeah. I don't know.
Raleigh.
Yeah,
I didn't have to make a 4.5 hour drive to Charlotte. Thank God.
I don't know how far things are in a car. I only fly.
Fly. So fucking bougie. Let you fly with your pinky out. All right, Rod, go ahead.
I'm sat next to 2 laboratories. Every time somebody takes a shit, I know. I can hear what you're doing through that wall.
Good. You deserve it.
I can certainly smell what you're doing through that wall. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's the furthest thing from glamorous.
See, for the FHFH airline podcast coming up next. It's like to me, it just comes down to is like, what is Svechnikov? Like, that's a huge thing.
He's a half-point per game guy.
It sucks, dude.
But he's
with
like
overhyped hits and overhyped shots.
48 points last year, played most of the season, like 70 something games. Yeah, he hits well. He shoots a bunch. It's just like 20 goals, 28 assists. Like that's a big deal. Like whatever he does to me kind of dictates how the team's going to go. But he's more than that. Like Protas was a guy who came along, got 30 goals that you didn't really expect to be that great. Svechnikov is a guy you're like, this guy's really great, and we're going to keep saying he's really great, and we're going to keep saying he's really great, and he just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, they're trying to speak it into existence, and this isn't that.
Well, they are. They're trying to speak it into existence, but he speaks Russian, and that's the problem, is he doesn't understand. So he's getting worse.
Yo no sé.
You know? So, I don't know. He's just that's a big question mark. If he can come around to be a 65-point player, which isn't a huge ask, that's a humongous difference to this team.
До свидания, Svech.
Storylines, just Brindamore. What's he going to do? And for Ehlers, is this going to be an improvement? We're seeing under 16 minutes of ice time in Winnipeg. I think you're guaranteed a top line role, top 6 role. With God forbid, fucking Rod Brindamore does anything consistently. Probably top power play. So I think it's probably safe to bet on an over for 16 minutes of average time on ice for Ehlers. I think this is going to be good for him. So I think it is an improvement.
I have here about just all the overhaul. You kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, especially on the defense. There was so much overhaul. I'm personally excited to see what happens with Keandre Miller. I'm hoping that works out because you guys know that's my guy. I do like him.
I love Keandre
Miller. I do like Keandre Miller. He's good, man.
He's good, very good. He is very good. He is
he's good as shit. So people need to see it. And I'm actually glad that he's down here. So I'm glad that they made that move. I think that he could have a good season. Now he's not out there scoring a ton of points, but man, the dude sure does block and hit. And he is an actual good real life defenseman. You know what I mean? Yes. That dude has a stick check like a motherfucker. He has like an 8-foot stick. Like
it's just him and Slavin each had 27 points, and they're vying for that top offensive defenseman spot.
But they're
that's
like
a
actual
problem.
Good defensemen. Like the thing about Slavin is he's a defensive defenseman. So I'm hoping it can actually open Miller up a little bit, because I do think that they're both going to be on the top pairing. So I'm hoping that it opens Miller up a little bit. However, I do think that even though they are projected to be, feasible cup winners, I think it very easily could be like a down year, like a trip up year for the Kings. Yeah. I think they could very well, very underperform. I wouldn't.
Is this the year that Brindamore's voice gets kind of muted in the locker room?
Especially if they start kind of going downhill. So yeah, that's what I have for storylines.
Yeah, I think offensive defenseman, you got to start and end with Shane Gostisbehere. That's what he does. Yeah. It's going to be 14 minutes a night, and 7 of those minutes are going to be on the power play. He's going to be chugging power play minutes. Half of his production, whatever it may be, is probably going to be from the power play. So we're looking at 50 points tops and 25 power play points minimum. I think the spread.
Oh, he's definitely the power play guy, but he's no top pairing defenseman. He's just not.
Oh yeah, not even close.
I will be
Keith Yandel. He's Tony DeAngelo. He's that's
I think he's like Tony DeAngelo as well.
Yeah.
Without the Twitter
I like
account.
Keith Yandel better than both of those players.
Sames. Alexander Nikishin, I think he's kind of the guy in waiting. Big body, did really, really well in the KHL offensively. So I think he's got the brain for it. But when you have Shane Gostisbehere on your roster, you have to put him on the power play. Otherwise, there's no reason to sign his paychecks.
Yeah.
There's literally zero reason.
Yeah, top targets. Sebastian Aho is kind of the only constant on this roster. I think Nick Ehlers kind of jumps up into there as good of a lock as you can have with the Carolina Hurricanes, because there is a lot of fluctuation with the line combinations and such. But I think that top line is probably going to stick together, and I think Seth Jarvis finds himself inside the top targets conversation as a result. I think those three who should be on the top line should be the top three that are drafted from this team. I think Svechnikov should probably find himself down towards like the 9th round. And I think this will be the 3rd straight year where I'm not drafting Svechnikov anymore. I was sucked into it. I thought there was like Jake Gensel, like ceiling there for him, but we haven't seen it. So I'm happy to dodge either a bullet or just not have more. Like if this is the year that he puts it together, I'm going to be fine not taking that investment on draft day, because whatever I did in a similar round is probably just as good. I don't know, but Gostisbehere is going to be up there. Is there anybody else who like really jumps out to you guys as somebody worth really targeting in drafts? Because you might wind up with the Stankoven in the late rounds. You might wind up with, hopefully you don't wind up with the Taylor Hall in the late rounds, but is there anybody else who like might flirt with back of the draft consideration? Or are those 5 the only ones that we're talking about?
No,
honestly, for me, that's about it. Yeah, that's about it for me. Like there are back of the draft kind of guys where I would say, I think Taylor Hall is one of those guys that you might take in the like towards the very end of the draft that could surprise you and overachieve for where he was drafted, and get lucky. But yeah, nobody else I'm really looking at.
I just I don't. Carolina's not a team where you overachieve.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's like you're probably gonna at best you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, you're taken out back in the woodshed. You're gonna do what you're supposed to do.
It's by committee, and I think that's by design. You're gonna have your top players, like the points leaders are going to be who you think they are. But I also think a lot of it is just by committee. That's evidenced with the line combinations. I see it every single time a game is finished. A screenshot of the grid, the line combo matrix, gets sent to the Discord, and the Carolina Hurricanes is all over the fucking place. Like every other team has perfectly structured 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, and the Carolina Hurricanes are just a mess. Yeah.
In all
maybe
honesty,
Tomorrow
though,
I'll
as
do
far as Taylor Hall goes, I think that he can
a video
be
on that site.
A 55, 60 point player, especially after being there for for a full year. Like
Taylor Hall?
Yeah. He
scored
it depends.
Points. I think
he scored
50
points
50
for
is
being
possible.
there, getting traded, towards the end of the season. He only spent 31 games there, and don't get me wrong, it paced out to probably around 50 would be my guess.
I'm trying to see what he did in Carolina here.
18 points in 31 games, which that's
So
right around 50
game. Yeah, probably around 50.
So after being there for a year and getting more ingrained, yeah, I think he could be a 55, maybe even 60-point player. That's what I'm saying. He would overachieve where he would be drafted is all I'm getting at.
That has been Taylor Hall's career since winning MVP. It's just been like he's got to get better, right? Like because he won the MVP, he's got to get better, right? And it's
but
always
again,
just
he's
been
in a place where from everything I've heard, he really likes being on this team.
I know he really loved being next to Connor
Yeah,
Bedard.
I like
the best
getting
player.
paychecks too, man.
No, I don't
really
think he
love
did being on Chicago. I don't think he likes being on Buffalo. In fact, I know he didn't like being on Buffalo. He definitely didn't like being in
Holy
Arizona.
shit, I forgot he was in Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in Boston.
Yeah,
he was Alex Galchenyuk there for a while, just tagging every team. I think 55-60 is that's an easy under for me. And I know you were talking about like, he could hit those numbers. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth to say that you project him for 55 or anything, but it feels like really hopeful. Everything's got to like kind of fall perfect for him to hit those numbers. I think 50 would be probably where I'd put the top threshold for where I expect him to land. But that's based on, just.
Well, I have him down the road here as a sleeper. You know what I mean? And to me, that's exactly what a sleeper is. Somebody that you don't really expect too much from, but can surprise you. That's what a sleeper is.
Carolina has a ton of sleeper picks, I think, because Stankoven could jump up. I think Blake is just a Rod Brindamore favorite. I think Taylor Hall has got a case for a sleeper pick as well. And this team is chock full of sleeper picks because Nikishin he could supplant Gostisbehere for top power play by, game 42. The second half of the season, it could be Nikishin. They could just, get rid of Shane Gostisbehere, put him in the fucking minors, waive him, whatever. The old Adam Boquist treatment, right? So, yeah, it could happen. And I think Nikishin is probably the heir apparent.
Remember him?
They got to get their I think he's in fucking, where's he at? The Islanders, I think. We talk about them in the next episode, so I'll find out for sure. I'm pretty sure he's there.
Hopefully that's a quick conversation.
Whew. Yeah. But I do think there's tons of like guys who have boom potential. It's just that boom is gonna travel in tandem with like where you're at in the lineup, and that's one of the most inconsistent things out of Carolina. So if this is the year that we finally get consistency out of the lineup, then we're gonna have a pretty like it's always a moving target, right? Like with who you're picking in Carolina, but if the target can just stand the fuck still, then we can get somebody. Where are we at now? Projected power play units. Let's talk locks on the power play. Aho for sure. Gostisbehere for sure. Ehlers for sure. Jarvis feels like for sure.
I would think for sure. Like Jarvis is good, dude. Jarvis is good.
Yeah, I think he's a lock there.
Svetch should not be there, but it's who else are you going to put there?
Yes, exactly. So
now
it's just kind of like
I think that they probably should put one of those younger guys, a Blank or a Stankoven.
48 points, man. Like that's Owen Tippett numbers, Raj. Like he should be there. Yes, based on pedigree, but performance and pedigree.
Based on where he got drafted, yes, he should be in the number one power play.
Yeah, but he's not like replacing with a Blake kind of situation.
Tell that to fucking Rod Brindamore, who consistently replaced him with Blake last year.
I give him my numbers, and I will tell him that. I will definitely.
All right, Zach, you ever see Brindamore down there? You ever see Brindamore down there? I know you saw a fucking Ronick at your restaurant one time. If you ever see Brindamore, give him Roger's phone number, and then give him a kick in the nuts from me.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I'll give him a kick in the spicy dill. The spicy dill pickle nuts.
These are the peanuts here.
Those sound fucking disgusting, dude. Those sound disgusting. I love pickles.
You remember when I was telling you guys about what Desi does, and like just to bother me, and then he looks over to see my reaction. What he does is chew with his mouth open. And it was like we were talking about that 2 seconds after Roger's just fucking smacking down nuts live on the mic, Just a mouthful of nuts. All right.
That's what
streamer candidates. Let's go. Candidates.
There's plenty of them.
we still got to talk Pittsburgh.
Keandre Miller is a banger. I think you're going to get the hits, the blocks out of him. There's going to be off nights where it just kind of makes sense to stack those like reliable stats, which are hits and blocks. Like you can't count on assists, you can't count on goals, but hits and blocks are pretty steady. Stankoven, Nikishin, Jackson Blake, I think is going to be a good one. Taylor Hall. These are all guys that I think are within consideration for streaming. And I think there's probably an argument for each of them to have a good enough season to be a hold by season's end. It's just which one is it going to be? Which two is it going to be?
Yeah, it just depends. And in all honesty, I know that they are so freaking high on Jackson Blake. I'm not saying that he's awful or anything. I personally like Stankoven better. I like Stankoven. I do.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got him. I just like his style of play.
I want to see this Jackson Blake contract because I remember looking at it and be like, are you sure? 8
Here, I'll look.
years, 45 million. So Jesus, 8 by 5, yeah, or 8 by 5.25
for Jackson friggin' Blake.
5.6.
I hope.
it makes
don't
like
get me
the
wrong. I hope they're right. Like, it's not like I'm rooting against them, but like, Jesus,
They love this kid. They love this kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if you're
know, but
looking
he
down the
hasn't
right
proven
side right now,
anything.
like-
His 34 points in 80 games really blew you the fuck away? Come on now. Get the hell out of here. Ridiculous.
Look at the right side,
Craziness.
the right wings that they have right now. He's the one they've given some money to.
Yeah, and Stankoven is on the right hand side too.
This
Well,
is
that's what
the
I mean.
third
Like, it's
team out
Jason-
of 3 that I have a problem with daily faceoff. Seth Jarvis is a fucking center.
No,
Stupid.
he's not. No, Seth
Svechnikov
Jarvis
is a
not
right
gonna
wing. He
be-
played most of his games at left wing last year.
Yes, he is a left winger.
So dumb. So it's going to be Ehlers, Aho, Jarvis,
Yes,
Svech,
like we talked about.
probably Kakanyemi, and Blake. And then, unfortunately, that puts Stank on the third line with Taylor Hall and
With
Jordan
Taylor
Stahl.
Hall. With Taylor Hall.
Hall, Stahl, Stank.
And in all honesty, they have
Oh,
Martinook on the third line, but Martinook is literally he is as fourth liner of a fourth liner gets. Like,
Hell yeah.
he is a
Right there
quintessential
with
fourth
William
liner,
Carrier and Eric Robinson.
which
That's
is
the fourth
fine.
line, dog.
That
It's a
sounds like a
quintessential
fourth line.
fourth
Yeah,
line.
no, it's Daily
Yeah.
Faceoff has this one fucking wrong.
That's a
Well, that was
Philadelphia
like
Flyers second line.
my whole thing about Carolina is how these lines do shake out is kind of everything.
But
For
trying
fantasy.
to, you can project the lineup for game 1, and you might be right for one game, and that's how fucking Brindamore.
Yeah, you never know. He might
that
have Keandre Miller play second line center. You'd never fucking know.
Hell yeah, that sounds all right by me. All right,
Regression.
regression, man. Svech, I think he's going to positively regress. We're going to have to use the opposite version of regression that we're used to hearing. I think 40. What do you have? 44 points last year. Some bullshit number. Like, not good. I think we get a little bit better. So he'll probably return value on wherever you draft him from, but I don't think it's going to be a ton.
Regression, just progression.
Well, regress just
Yes.
means like you have
Progress.
normal in the middle and
Yes, it does.
positive and negative, and then regression just means like gravitating towards the mean, the middle. So regression can be whatever. It's just gravity.
He's going to score a whole nother 50 points again.
On top of he's all right. So never mind. I get it. I follow you. I thought you meant 50 points on top of 44. I was like, he's not going to be a
No.
95-point guy.
No.
Holy fuck.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
No way in hell.
all right. The Woodford is starting to kick in, and we're getting right around Pittsburgh, so that's going to be perfect. My sleeper. Do you guys have any regression candidates? I see we're pretty much barren on this one. I don't know that anybody performed.
Yeah, I don't.
Stay.
And the people that I don't think Aho is going to regress.
No, he
that kind
feels like
kind of thing.
kind of a steady Eddie.
Yeah.
He'll get his, and I think that's as plain as you can put it.
So I really don't think that there is a regression candidate here.
Fair enough. Sleeper candidates, and I put Nikishin just because I feel like kind of got to pick one. And this is there's a huge asterisk that he needs top power play for this sleeper candidate to hit. So this is not something I'm telling you guys, go out and draft a guy. I just think just watch the waiver wire, and if he starts stealing some power play shifts from Ghost, or if he starts pairing up with Ghost on the power play, then he's worth an ad, and then a tentative hold, and that's how he turns into a sleeper is via the.
I already said my
agency
sleeper
route.
earlier. It was Taylor Hall.
Yeah,
but we've gone over him well enough.
What do you think, bud?
Sleepers,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, it's just Ghost if you can.
All right, Ghost. I'm trying to check where he's getting drafted. Oh, he's getting the 10th round, right around like Joel Eriksson.
Really, 10th round.
Well, he'll get good power play points for you.
Yes, I'm nowhere near that. I would be nowhere near.
Okay, so Rook was the one in the league that I'm looking at who drafted him, and he took Gostisbehere and Morgan Riley back to back. Now, I know we're not talking about Toronto, but like Morgan Riley has to be he has to be on the power play. I know they're doing 5 forward power play, but I feel like Morgan Riley is a huge value this year. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then Zeev Boyum, Zach, it's very important to one gentleman in particular who left a comment on our Spotify that said, I can't believe you don't know how to pronounce this guy who's been in the league for 8 or 9 games. Was drafted last year. I can't believe you don't know how to say this guy's name. What a fucking crackpot podcast.
For what it's worth,
racist.
I don't like me. I don't like me either.
So let's do a little pronunciation. Zeev Boyum.
How do we do this?
All right. Evan, I expect a good review. Thank you.
We want to do this right. We want to do it right.
He's my boy.
Raj is just chugging nuts.
On and off the air.
Pickle nuts.
On and off the air. Again. Good old pickle nuts.
All right. What was I looking at? I was looking at something. I had a whole train of thought, and then I saw Zeev Boyum's name, and I was like, oh, yeah. This is really important to one person in the entire world. I was looking at Ghost, and then I went on a Morgan Riley rant. Fuck, yeah, the Woodford is definitely kicking in. Holy shit. All right, goalies. Man, do they put Kochetkov up front? Do they keep riding with Freddie? They just re-signed Freddie, so I think Freddie, if there's going to be, if somebody's going to take a majority of the starts, it's going to be Freddie, and it's just kind of how long he can stay healthy.
That's how it always ends up being each year. I like Kochetkov, but I agree. I think it's going to be much more of a 60-40, if not more of a 70-30. Kochetkov will still get his starts every now and then, but that's definitely a player that you're going to want to kind of keep up on when goalies get confirmed for the day. If he gets confirmed and he's available in your league, he'll be worth picking up for a daily pickup for sure.
So annoying to have to pick up based on whenever the.
And then we'll move it on to Schittsburg.
Schittsburg, baby. Love the city, gorgeous city.
Really?
Terrible.
Are we talking about the same city? I've been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
not a
nice.
beautiful city.
Go again.
I mean, they have Permane brothers, and if you put French fries in a sandwich, I'm a fan of such things. So I'll give you that.
That's nice. Did we go to Pittsburgh when we had the RV?
No,
we got a French fry sandwich though. Didn't we go to Permane Brothers?
We might have gotten. RV? They put in the western part of the state. They put French fries and everything.
Raj, knock it off. What are you doing? I don't know what's happening. Fluffy drug. Let's do it. You're allergic to nuts, dude. That's it.
I'm definitely
nut allergy. We're gonna watch you have anaphylaxis live on the podcast.
I got a.
Is that Slim Jim?
Vape?
What the fuck is that?
No, it's like a disposable vape.
The weed?
Yeah.
It's Vancouver. Of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, what a dumb question.
It's good.
It tastes really good.
Podcast.
But that really just made me sneeze a bunch.
All right, Pittsburgh. Focus. Laser focus, guys. 7th in the Metro. Goals for per game, goals against per game. Pretty flat.
Even.
Goals for 3.07, goals against 3.05. Power play was 7th in the league, which is actually pretty surprising. Off nights, they're right in the middle this season with 29. Back-to-backs, they are tied for the most, which is going to be interesting because they picked up Artur Silovs from you guys. Got rid of Nedeljkovic, which was surprising to me. I thought they really liked that. But I think we see Joel Blomqvist at some point this season. It was always kind of the plan to have those guys, battle it out in preseason to see who was going to be the guy. It's going to be fucking shitbag Jari again, running it back. That'll be fun. New head coach, which is, I think, a big storyline here. Mike Sullivan's out. Dan Muse is in. First-time NHL head coach. Coached the U.S. NTDP for 3 seasons. Was also with Laviolette in New York. Kind of followed Lavi around for a while. Was in Nashville under Lavi. Was a assistant coach there. Has a lot of experience developing players with the NTDP. He brought USHL team. I forget the name of it, but he brought them to the championship. So he's going to be good for the younger players. And that's kind of where I want to steer this conversation with, Ville Koivunen, with Rucker McGroarty, with Philip Tomasino. The way that Mike Sullivan left this team was split power play units, Malkin on power play 2, kind of a mixed bag on power play 1, but Crosby was a constant there. Raquel was a constant there. Rust was. But it was just kind of like piecemeal with whoever filled out the rest. And I don't know if Muse is going to do the same thing. This is another team where it's hard to project because we don't know how they're going to, put their team together on paper. I don't know. I want to get your guys' read on this one. Zach, if you want to fire it away, what do you think? What do the fucking Pittsburgh Penguins look like this year? Besides bad.
I'm actually most excited about Ville Koivunen. That's my favorite young player from the Pittsburgh Penguins, but that's my personal opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, I like McGroarty too. Tomasino, I want to see what he can do being somewhere else, but I'm kind of over Philip Tomasino.
Yeah, it might be
that's
too.
Just my own personal opinion.
He's my Sveshnikov. I just keep maybe this will be the year he finally breaks 30 points. No, I don't know.
Really, I hope that Ricky Rax keeps it up. That's what I'm Rick Rackle. That's what I'm worried about the most. But as far as I don't think that they're going to really be pushing for anything in the Metro. I think their defense is old. Whether it's Erik Karlsson, Chris Letang, Matt Dumba, they're just old. So I don't see them being a thing. And as far as Tristan Jarry goes, I think he is the human version of Pickle Nuts.
Raj is allergic to Tristan Jarry. It's surprising they got rid of Pierre-Olivier Joseph. I did not see that coming. He just felt like kind of a background piece, but he felt like a Pittsburgh Penguin through and through. Mm-hmm. And he's out. A lot of additions, a lot of subtractions to this team. Smaller kind of just patchwork moves. But Anthony Mantha joins the team, another one of my ex-favorites from the Detroit Red Wings days. Never really put it together after that, but I think if there's one thing that Pittsburgh,
I think that one could be interesting, actually.
Anthony. Yeah, I think
that one could be interesting.
There's opportunity there. I think there's room enough for somebody like Mantha, if he can put it together and he can earn it, because it's not going to be his just out of the gate. He's got to earn it. He's got to keep it, but it'll be his to lose. But there's not a bunch of players that are keeping him from the top 6. So, but we've seen fucking Beauvillier there. We've seen how many guys have we seen in the top 6? We're like, yeah, it could work out, and it just we never talk about him again. And that could just as easily happen for Mantha as putting 50 points on the board. Could be. Added Tommy Novak, added Matt Dumba, like you had said, Connor Clifton, Justin Brazeau, Parker Weatherspoon, Alexei Alexiev, Caleb Jones, Raphael Harvey Pinard, Phil Kemp, Philip Hollander. They got rid of Nedeljkovic, Connor Timmins. Not even going to try that guy's name. Chase Stillman, Nate Klerman. Yeah, it was like
Vladislav
guy.
Kolyachonok.
Yeah, Kolyachonok.
You don't know that guy's name.
Solid. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. I'm hammered, dude. I'm hammered. I'm in Miami. I'm on my 4th drink. I chugged a whole Woodford in the van. And then I had a champagne, and then I had 2 more Woodfords here, and I ate my first meal of the day 2 hours ago. So hammered, and not saying Vladislav Kolyachonok. I don't know. I feel like you were a lot closer
think
with that one. You did pretty good. We'll go with yours. Yeah,
Hey.
they re-signed Connor Dewar, Philip Tomasino, Yuna Kapanen, and Bokanji Imama. I can't believe I got that one. Boko Imama, who's a banger, dude. He bangs. Top targets, no surprise. Sidney Crosby's going to be up there. I've been getting it feels like a lot of value on Chris Letang in each of the mocks that I've been doing this year. And I don't know if it's the injury history or what have you that's keeping him out of people's queues or whatever, but feels good whenever I get him. I feel like he's got just as much an opportunity to get the top power play as Erik Karlsson. But somebody, I think it was Circler in the Discord, Karlsson's put together 3 healthy seasons in a row. Did you know that? That's kind of crazy. I
was actually going to say the same thing about Letang. Is you almost like he's been pretty healthy lately. You feel like the bottom's going to fall out.
Yeah, you don't.
But at least Letang does. Like Letang bangs though, like for real.
Yeah, he puts him up there. Yeah,
always.
He'll hit you with the tallies. He'll get you. And then Brian Rust, Evgeny Malkin. Malkin's been really, really tapering off. I feel like last year his saving grace was having left wing added to him, kind of kept his relevancy in terms of, fantasy ownership and things like that. He might not start with left wing eligibility this year, straight center, but we'll see what Dan Muse does, because my hope for Dan Muse is I'd like to see Malkin get back on the top power play unit, bring back a couple of those points. If you run like Crosby, Rust, Raquel, Malkin, and Letang, and kind of just like go back to not necessarily like Pittsburgh's version of the core 4, but like, your big guns, right? Or Erik Karlsson or whatever it might be. Koivunen, I think, is a good option up there as well, but just the amount of question marks that are surrounding what a new coach could do with the power play units, those question marks start to bring opportunities for value, whether it's Koivunen, whether it's Mantha, whether it's Malkin, whether it's whoever gets that top power play spot, alongside Crosby, who's a lock, Rust, who's a lock, Raquel, who's a lock, and then Karlsson, Letang. Like, who would you say is more likely to get the power play if you had to pick one?
Karlsson. That'd be my guess. Would it not be yours?
Karlsson in an effort to trade him. Like,
I agree with both of you guys. I think it's Karlsson probably on the top power play. Like, if they're only going to have one, I think Karlsson gets the nod. Yeah. If it makes sense if they want to do 2, but I don't like 2 defensemen on a top power play unit, especially when you have fucking nobody.
Oh yeah, I don't see that
for your second power play unit.
Well, that's just the thing, is that I don't think there is 0 second power play unit. So I think what is going to happen is I think they want to load up Karlsson, and and you'll see in the rest of my.
Did they get rid of Grzelcyk?
I believe they did get rid of Matt Grzelcyk.
Yeah. I wasn't sure he was still an NHL
I think
player, but
I actually, you know what? I forgot to shout out Alan at the top of the show for putting this fucking the show doc together. But Alan, if you made it 2 hours into the drunken rambling, thank you. I was flying all day, did Turks and Caicos, so I had no Wi-Fi on the plane, and yesterday was a big day flying. But Alan, not on the show, but just like put together the bullet points for the episode. So huge thank you to Alan. He had Matt Grzelcyk in there, and I was like, no way. Like, where did he go? So I erased Grzelcyk's name out of there, but I guess they did get rid of him.
Is Matt Grzelcyk not on a team right now?
I don't think he signed anywhere. That's why I erased him, because I was like, I don't remember him signing with a new team, but I guess the Penguins just didn't qualify him, or extended an offer or whatever. But yeah, Grzelcyk's out there.
Maybe he's gonna go back to Boston.
I hope not. Wake me up when you're relevant.
Buffalo.
Maybe it'll be when September ends.
They love defensemen. Anyway, lots of changes in Pittsburgh in terms of like personnel, but that power play, man, like the second power play unit, if they do run it with Malkin, and it was such a good power play unit, I don't know why Dan Muse wouldn't run Sullivan's units to start. until he discovers his own chemistry or his own preferences. But Malkin on power play 2, they were 7th, I think it was, in the league in power play. Yeah, 7th. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kind of rears its ugly head again. But let's talk about where do we start off? Streamer candidates, right? And
sure.
I think you're fucking bang on here, Zach. So take her away.
I got Billy Koivunen. It's not like they have too much going on in the left wing position. So, you have to think it's going to be McGroarty or Koivunen that's going to get that second line spot. But with 7 assists in the 8 games that he did play last year, I mean, that's gotten positivity written all over it. Now, he did have a 0% shooting percentage, but again, that's just like a 25% shooting percentage is unsustainable. A 0% shooting percentage is unsustainable as well. If he gets a top 6 role and possibly some power play time, I think it spells out good things for Billy.
How was the shots per game was under 2? That's what I was looking at. So yeah, 8 games, 15 shots on goal.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, he's trying to get his feet underneath him. But he had great time on ice, 18 minutes.
Power play time too.
Yeah, so I'm liking Billy Koivunen here.
I'll take it. Raji, who do you got?
I mean, she's a tough call, Jim. I mean, I'm not really looking at anyone. I don't know. If you're not playing with Crosby, I'm not sure I want you.
Yeah, Malkin's not even the player he used to be, so you can't ride his line
Malkin, and I don't even. I think Malkin's kind of at the point where he's like, you can trade me, and then I'll quit. And other than that, I'm playing 2C.
Kuznetsov in fucking Russia.
He's just kind of like, I'm playing 2C. I don't know. I just really feel like Pittsburgh is honestly 100% bullshit. And then there's Sidney Crosby. Like the top line,
number 1 bullshit, yeah.
It is number 1 bullshit.
Yeah, I still like Russ, though. I still like Ricky Brax.
Well,
I know, and
those are not guys we're streaming. Those are
those aren't.
See, now Mantha was somebody I was going to bring up, and he's got the same kind of vibe as Beauvillier did last year, where it's okay if Pittsburgh has a good streaming schedule, he's going to come up, but he's not somebody that that I have a lot of confidence in being a hold. So it's not somebody that's kind of secondary value, which is kind of what the streamer candidate section is supposed to be. Who's the periphery, who's the supporting cast. It's just I think it kind of starts and ends with Koivunen. Or again, to further your point, Raj, whoever you said, if you're not on Crosby's line, you're not scoring. I think it goes so far as to say if you're not on the top power play, then there's nothing there. And I think that's where Koivunen kind of fits in. What's it going to be? Yeah, Raquel, maybe. Crosby, Rust, or does Raquel play with Malkin most of the time? I think Raquel.
Raquel's on that top line.
It's like Raquel, Crosby, Rust, and then everybody else is dead. To me, that's this team.
And then as far as breakout candidates, again, I got Billy.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with Billy here.
I gotta bring up at least McGroarty.
That's fine.
A little bit. I feel like he hasn't had enough of a spotlight this episode, but I get a bad taste in my mouth whenever I'm talking about this guy. Just the way he left Winnipeg, so I feel like he's kind of a brat, and I don't know. I don't know. I got to learn more about him before I start to like him. To be honest, I feel like he's just kind of a spoiled guy. Oh, I want out of here. I want to start playing. Winnipeg didn't have the room for him, so they had to move him. And I don't know if he's going to get top line time. He seems like a third liner.
Some stats in the games that he did play.
But the Pittsburgh that we're used to is the Mike Sullivan Pittsburgh that, we're going to cycle guys around Crosby because whoever we put with Crosby will get their points, and will help Crosby get points too. And that's not going to change from coach to coach. Crosby is going to be Crosby no matter who is at the helm. So I think we'll see it again with Muse, but at the same time, if Raquel Crosby Rust is working, then there's no room for somebody else to come in and kind of just ride sidecar to Crosby. And then that makes your best sidecar Evgeny Malkin, who, is, again, not the guy he once was. So I think the only option for like secondary value is just whoever that fourth forward is on the power play. And we'll see what Muse does with that. Is it Malkin again? A throwback kind of vibe, or is it Koivunen? And I think Dan Muse's like history of the NTDP and with the USHL is probably going to lean more towards the young blood. So I like Koivunen. I'm there. So I agree with both of you guys. It's basically what I'm trying to say. If they're not drafted, they're not worth it. And whoever
you agree with me on this next one too.
I guess so. Take her away.
What for regression?
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to admit it.
Me too. I mean, he's my guy. He's your guy. He's our guy. Ricky Rax, Ricker Rackle.
Yeah, Raj got him too. Yeah.
Oh man, Raj got Ricky Rax too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, at least your fingers are closed. Yeah.
So he had his best season. Like, that doesn't happen this like late in the game often. But he played damn near every game. But the last couple of years, especially since he's been on Pittsburgh, he's been pretty healthy. But he, split it straight down the middle. 35 goals, 35 assists, 70 points, which is damn good. Everybody had a bad plus minus, but he had the 17.2 shooting percentage, and that's what I'm worried about, and I'm sure that's what you're worried about too. Now he has done that, similar things in the past, but he's also had a 6.3 shooting percentage in the past. So I'm definitely worried about the high shooting percentage, but he did have his highest time on ice of his career. So if he keeps on getting, the top line with Crosby, which I don't see not happening. I mean, they could start moving things around, but I don't know why they would. And if he continues to get top power play, it could spell good things, but when you have one season all of a sudden where it's your first one where you've had 70 points, I got to have you in the regression category, even though I love Ricky Rax.
Did it a decade ago with Anaheim, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, where he was just under 70.
No, 73. Well, 73-point pace. Yeah, you're right, though. In terms of pace, second best season. Those shots on goal, man. And he hits, like, such a fun. And he blocks. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I like
Ricky Rax. Ricky Rax, yeah, I'm all for it. 1.42 hits per game. Just around a block a game. 2.5 shots.
I hope it works. I hope it works out. I do.
Yeah,
I'm not rooting
I agree
for
with
him.
you.
I'm not rooting to be right on this one. It's just the only one that really makes sense.
Yeah, how often does a 33-year-old, repeat a season like that? But
best season of your career.
What I will say, just to make myself sleep better tonight, because I like Ricky Rax. Big fish, small pond, right? Like Pittsburgh, the pond just keeps getting smaller. The expectations aren't there, so someone's got to play those minutes.
But like, how many times when he was, had nobody to play with, we were like, if only he had somebody to play with. Look at Ricky Rax, is like got all this potential, blah blah blah, and then he went here, and now he's like,
and he has someone to play with.
He has the greatest player to play with, and he has the best season of his life. Like, that's a pretty huge thing. And his only competition right now is like nothing. Like
Anthony Mantha.
There's no way they're gonna take him off a 35 goal season and say, you know what? Let's move you down the lineup.
What if you were
'Cause
less
that's-
productive and it was our fault? No.
Because like, like Villy has 0 goals. Rutger McCarty has 1 goal.
Connor Dewar.
Like there's
this job
Mantha
security right
had
there, babe.
4 goals last year, right? Like there's nobody else had goals. So it's like he's,
and let's be honest,
he's pretty much stabilized.
They're not interested. Maybe the ownership is interested in tanking, but
yeah,
but if you're gonna tank,
there's a 1C that's not gonna be interested in tanking for anyone.
No, and if you're gonna tank, have 1 line that is exciting, and 3 that are just fucking garbage and lose the game for you.
Well, hell yeah, that's exactly what their team is.
Raquel, Crosby, Rust.
That's it.
Everybody.
I think they either owe it to Crosby to trade him, or to keep rolling.
They're not gonna trade him.
Earlier he wants to get traded.
Earlier in the offseason, Dubas was like, we're not interested in competing, and this is all paraphrasing. But he just was on the PDO cast, and now he's like, well, we're not planning to tank, so we're still going to try to piece things together. But I guarantee it, he's going to trade Carlson. He's going to try to push Rust out. He's going to try to. Out. Carlson's going to get traded. They're going to retain. They're going to try their best to get Gavin McKenna. And I'm going to
can't say out loud
every
that
single
he's
day.
Going to tank.
Yeah, you can't. But
Gary Bettman is going to do everything in his power to make sure that they have the next Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not.
And Crosby is going to understand.
No.
Right.
You can't. Don't do this to me, guys.
I don't want it to happen either.
No.
Sleeper candidates. Sleepers.
Sleeper candidates, yeah. Let's put a bow on this bitch. I don't know. I feel like Koivunen is kind of the guy here with background noise
I don't
edited
think he's
for
a sleeper yet, though.
Mantha and McGroarty, who could both straight up, whoever gets that final power play spot. Again, I think most likely it's Koivunen and then Malkin probably, but what do we say? This is a 1-line team plus Malkin, and literally anybody else has all the room in the world to put their name in the hat. And I think Mantha's up there, McGroarty's up there, Tomasino to a lesser extent, and it just depends how Muse deploys those power plays.
Malkin's going to be on the waiver wire by New Year's.
That's feasible. That's feasible. It really is.
He was on the waiver wire a lot of last year too. I picked him up, and I think I needed flexibility with left wing or something. I don't know. I held him for way too long.
Because you were waiting for something to happen that never happened. That's what happens.
Yeah. It was like him and Tomas Hertl. Those were the only guys I had dual eligible or some shit. I forget. All right. Who do you got, sleeper? Anybody interesting there, Zach?
I agreed with you with Anthony Mantha, like I said earlier. While he was in Calgary, he played fine. He's just not there anymore. So it's not that he doesn't have it. The last time I feel like he was really viable was when he was on Washington.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do agree. If he's in that top 6, which I think he will be, unless they put Tomasino up there for some reason, I don't see that happening. But I do. I think that he's going to get opportunity. Whether it's power play, it'll probably be on the second power play, most likely, or very, very likely. But he'll get top 6 time. And he is a proven player. It's not like he's some trash player. So as far as where he'll get drafted, which is probably not at all.
Probably, yeah.
Because I wouldn't draft him. I'm not going to lie. He's somebody that I'm going to. Well, but again, that's what a sleeper kind of is. It's not just you outpace where you're getting drafted, but like a player that you pick up off waivers and then is doing well enough where you can't drop them. That's a sleeper. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like could happen with Mantha.
Yeah. Koivunen probably the most likely, just based on.
I already told you he was my favorite one.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's a 1-line team, dude, and I hate the goalies, so I don't really want to talk about it.
Well, don't hate too much.
What? Tristan? Well, yeah, Arthur Silovs. I wonder if he could steal.
Silovs might be and that was one of my points. If we weren't too
could.
tired to even get there, but
no, it's
he could be a good back-to-back pickup. Silovs is a fucking amazing goalie.
You know what ridiculous. I think is the most likely? I don't think that like Silovs earns it. I think Jari loses it. And it just kind of happens that way where Silovs becomes the 1A. I don't think it's like a starter outright, 75-25, 60-40, anything like that.
God, no.
I just think he might be able to supplant as the 1A because Jari is that fucking bad.
No, just as like I think he would be my streamer guy would be him because no one's gonna draft. No one's gonna draft Artur Silovs. No. But like the one thing like that gets left behind in Vancouver is he was amazing. He like won MVP for Latvia as a junior. He won MVP for Abbotsford in the AHL. He took Vancouver to the third round, to the 7th game against McDavid when he was not even supposed to be in the lineup. So the only time he's been shitty was when the entire team was garbage. Pedersen scored less points than Ryan Pulak that season. That's when Silovs sucked. So I don't think it was Silovs when he lost a few games that month. Dude. So as far as Pittsburgh goes and a sleeper,
good pickup, good pickup, boys.
Silovs on, just on back-to-backs if you need to get a guy. I think because he'll be getting the bullshit starts too.
Yeah,
because they're going to say Jari's our guy. Jari's our guy.
Womp womp. Tristan Jarry, your Edmonton Oilers starting goalie.
Ooh, oh my god.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Doesn't it suck like how logical that would be? Well, that's the outro. One of the Metro. Either I'm going to drink as much as I did tonight for part 2, or we're going to figure out how to trim this bitch down. I should have packed a Reptar with me. You have Conky there, Raj? Say goodbye, everybody. All right, follow us on Twitter at FHF Hockey. Join the Fantasy Hockey Discord. Do some mocks and shit. Hang out with us here on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us on YouTube, on Twitter Live, whatever the hell it's called. We'll see you next time. We love you.
Bye.